The Galactic Council ruled over the stars. It was made up of many alien races, each stronger than the last. They controlled trade, war, and technology across the galaxy. Their ships were huge, their armies powerful. No one dared to fight them. Humans were nothing to them. Earth was small. Its people were weak. Their spaceships were slow, their weapons outdated. Humans had only recently started traveling beyond their own solar system. Compared to the Council, they were like ants walking among giants. And so, the Council treated them like ants. At first, humans tried to be peaceful. They sent messages to the Council, asking to join their alliance. They promised trade, knowledge, and friendship. The Council laughed. Humans had nothing valuable. Their technology was old, their armies small. What could they offer? Humans are a joke, said one council leader. Let them crawl in the dirt where they belong. The council refused to accept them. Worse, they made laws against them. Humans were not allowed to trade freely. They were not allowed to settle on certain planets. When human explorers found new worlds, the council took them away. Then came the worst crime. Humanity had worked for decades to build their first space colony outside their solar system. It was a small planet called Nova Prime. It had forests, rivers, and fresh air. It was meant to be humanity's second home, a place where they could grow strong and independent. The day the colony was completed, the council arrived. Giant ships filled the sky. Thousands of alien soldiers landed on the planet. Without warning, they took over. Humans were given a choice: serve the council as workers or leave. When humans protested, the aliens laughed. You do not own this world, they said. The council owns everything. Some humans fought back. They were brave but outnumbered. The aliens crushed them easily. Many were killed. The rest were forced to work. The colony that had taken years to build was stolen in a single day. Earth's leaders were furious. They demanded justice. They sent messages, held meetings, begged for peace. The council ignored them. To the aliens, humans were insects. They did not matter. The message was clear. Humanity had no place in the galaxy. For years, the council continued its cruelty. Humans were treated like second-class beings. Some alien traders captured humans and sold them as slaves. Human ships were stopped and searched for no reason. Some were destroyed just to send a warning. The council wanted to make sure humans never became strong. But they had made a mistake. They thought humans would stay weak forever. They thought humans would never fight back. They were wrong. Deep in their hearts, humans carried something the council did not understand. Something no alien race had. Rage. It burned slowly at first. A quiet fire, hidden behind politics and diplomacy. But every insult, every attack, every stolen planet made it stronger. Humans did not forget. They did not forgive. And soon, the fire would burn the entire galaxy. The galaxy was silent. Stars burned in the distance. Planets spun in their endless dance. And deep in the void, warships moved like shadows. It was another normal day for the Galactic Council. They ruled the universe without fear. No one dared to stand against them. And then everything changed. It started with a single attack, a surprise, a message. The Council's warships arrived at a human colony called Eden 4. It was a small, peaceful world where families lived. Scientists worked there, building new machines. Children played in green fields under a bright blue sky. There were no weapons, no armies. But the Council did not care. They sent a fleet of destroyers, giant ships with black metal bodies and weapons strong enough to wipe out cities. The Council had attacked human colonies before, but this time, they wanted to send a stronger message. This time, they wanted to break humanity completely. The attack began without warning. Missiles rained from the sky. Fire swallowed homes. People screamed as buildings fell, crushing everything inside. Mothers grabbed their children and ran. Fathers tried to fight back, but they had no weapons. There was nothing they could do. The Council soldiers landed next. tall aliens with sharp armor and cold eyes. They moved through the burning city, capturing survivors. "Take them away," their leader ordered. "Make them slaves. The rest, let them burn." One by one, the ships left, carrying thousands of human prisoners. When the last council soldier stepped onto his ship, he turned back and laughed. "This is what happens to weak species," he said. Then he pressed a button. Eden 4 exploded. From space, it looked like a bright red flower blooming in the black sky. A whole world, gone in seconds. Millions of lives, erased. But the council had made a mistake. They thought humans would cry, that they would beg for mercy, that they would fear the power of the council. Instead, something else happened. On Earth, people watched in horror. Then, the horror turned to rage. The kind of rage that does not fade. The kind of rage that does not forgive. There was no more doubt. No more talks. No more peace. Humanity had tried to be kind. They had tried to be part of the galaxy. But the galaxy had shown them the truth. There was no place for kindness here. There was only power. And now, humans would take that power for themselves. Earth's leaders came together. The United Earth Federation was formed. It was no longer about different nations or different flags. There was only one banner now. One goal. Scientists built warships, stronger and faster than anything the Council had seen. Engineers made weapons designed to destroy entire fleets. Soldiers trained, not for defense, but for revenge. The brightest minds created new technology. Eye-controlled drones, cybernetic soldiers, energy shields that could withstand any attack. Humans were always smart, always creative. But now, they were desperate. Now, they had no limits. A new message spread across every human world. We will never forget Eden 4. We will never forgive the Council. We will rise. We will strike. And we will burn their worlds, just as they burned ours. For the first time in history, the Council felt fear. War was coming. And humanity was ready. The stars had never seen such silence before. The Galactic Council ruled for thousands of years, crushing weak species, taking planets, and using fear to control the galaxy. They believed they were untouchable. They believed no one could rise against them. They were wrong. The attack on Eden 4 had awakened something dangerous: human wrath. For centuries, humans had been explorers, scientists, and dreamers. They had looked up at the stars with hope. They had wanted to learn, to share, to grow. But now, their dream was gone. The Council had burned it to ashes. Now, humans were something else. They were warriors. The Great Preparation. Earth and its colonies worked as one. Factories roared day and night. Scientists created weapons far beyond what the Council had ever seen. Engineers built warships with thick armor, deadly cannons, and engines faster than light. The most brilliant minds designed eye-controlled fleets, machines that never tired, never hesitated, and never showed mercy. Human soldiers trained harder than ever. They were given cybernetic implants to make them stronger, faster, and deadlier. Their new armor could withstand plasma blasts. Their weapons could tear through Council warships like paper. And then there were the Shadow Squads, elite warriors trained in silence, speed, and assassination. They were ghosts, invisible killers who could enter any ship, any base, and leave nothing but bodies behind. The Council had no idea what was coming. The first strike. The Council was too arrogant to see the danger. They thought humans would stay weak. They thought fear would stop them. But then, one of their planets vanished. Council sensors detected strange signals near a planet called Vorlon 6, a military outpost. They ignored it at first. Then, suddenly, the planet lost all communication. No distress calls, no reports, nothing. When a Council fleet arrived, they found only ruins. Their bases were gone. Their soldiers were dead. Their weapons were stolen. And on the broken walls, a message was burned into the metal. Remember Eden 4. Panic spread through the council. Who did this? What kind of enemy could wipe out an entire military outpost so easily? Then came another attack, and another, and another. Council fleets went missing. Their trade routes were destroyed. Their best soldiers never returned. The council finally realized the truth. It was humanity. The weak species they had laughed at. The ants they had crushed. The helpless race they had ignored. Humans were no longer weak. They were no longer afraid. They had become something terrifying. The fear spreads. The council tried to fight back. They sent fleets to human space, expecting an easy victory. But when their ships arrived, they found nothing. No cities, no bases, no signals, only silence. And then, from the darkness, the humans struck. Their ships were fast. Their weapons were powerful. They did not fight like the council. They did not come in straight lines, did not announce their arrival. They came like ghosts. Council warships exploded before they could react. Entire fleets were destroyed in minutes. The few survivors spoke of shadows moving through space, of weapons that hit before they could even see the enemy. And worst of all, the humans never left bodies behind. It was like they were erasing the council from existence. The Galactic Council breaks. For the first time in history, the council was losing. Some alien races started to question their rule. If humans could do this, maybe the council was not as powerful as they claimed. Some races betrayed the council, offering secret deals to the humans. Others surrendered before they could be attacked. They had seen what happened to those who resisted. The council held a secret meeting. Their leaders argued, screamed, panicked. How can this be happening? One of them shouted, "They are just humans." Another said, but deep inside, they knew the truth. Humans were no longer prey. They were the hunters now. And they would not stop until every last council world was burning. The Galactic Council still believed they were the masters of the universe. Even as human forces destroyed their outposts and wiped out their fleets, they refused to accept the truth. They told themselves that humans were using tricks, that it was just luck. But luck does not destroy entire war fleets. Luck does not make planets disappear. The truth was simple. Humans were winning. And now they were ready for their first real attack. The target, Zalvan Prime. Zalvan Prime was an important planet for the Council. It had shipyards that built their biggest warships. It had research labs filled with their smartest minds. It had armies, weapons, and defenses stronger than any other world. It was a symbol of the Council's power. Humans decided it would be the first to fall. The Council had no idea what was coming. Their generals sat in high towers, drinking expensive drinks, laughing about how humans would never dare attack such a strong world. They did not know that the attack had already begun. The silent strike. The first human ships arrived in complete silence. They did not announce their presence. They did not send warnings. They did not wait. Stealth drones, small and invisible, moved into position. They sent back perfect maps of the planet's defenses, gun towers, shield generators, patrol routes. Every detail was recorded. Then shadow squads landed. These were humanity's deadliest warriors. They wore black armor that bent light around them, making them almost invisible. Their weapons made no sound. They moved like ghosts through the city. One by one, the Council's defense systems went dark. Gun towers were disabled. Energy shields were hacked. The Council's soldiers never even saw their killers. And then, the real attack began. Fire from the sky. The Council officers on Zalvan Prime were still laughing when the first human warships entered orbit. Gigantic black ships, faster and deadlier than anything the Council had ever seen. Their hulls were covered in thick armor, their weapons glowing with energy. Then, fire. Plasma cannons melted steel towers in seconds. Bombs dropped from above, destroying entire military bases. The sky turned red as explosions swallowed the city. Council soldiers ran in panic. They had been trained to fight slow, predictable enemies. But the humans? They were monsters. They moved too fast. Their weapons were too strong. Council fighters launched into the sky, trying to stop the human fleet. But human ships were smaller and smarter. They twisted through the air, dodging lasers, returning fire with deadly accuracy. One by one, the Council's warships fell from the sky. The fall of Salvan Prime. On the ground, human soldiers stormed through the streets. The Council's troops tried to hold their lines, but they were not prepared for this kind of war. Humans fought with terrifying precision. They used advanced exosuits, making them faster, stronger, and deadlier. They carried railguns that could blast through walls. The Council's army collapsed in less than an hour. Their generals tried to escape, but human drones hunted them down. Their leaders tried to surrender, but humanity had not forgotten Eden 4. There was no mercy. By the end of the day, Salvan Prime was no longer a Council world. It belonged to humanity now. The message to the galaxy. The Council was in shock. This was not a small outpost. This was not a secret mission. This was a full-scale invasion. And it had worked. Across the galaxy, alien races watched in fear. They had seen humans as weak before. Now they saw the truth. Humans were stronger than anyone had imagined. They did not just fight. They hunted. They did not just win. They destroyed. The Council tried to send reinforcements, but it was already too late. By the time their fleet arrived, Salvan Prime was under human control. The Council's factories had been taken over. Their own weapons were now being used against them. A single message was broadcasted across the galaxy, sent from Salvan Prime's capital. This is just the beginning. The war had truly begun, and the Council was losing. The Galactic Council was in chaos. For thousands of years, they had ruled the galaxy with an iron fist. No species had ever challenged them. No enemy had ever dared to strike their core worlds. But now, humans had done the impossible. They had wiped out entire fleets. They had taken over Salvan Prime, one of the most important Council planets. They had sent a message to the entire galaxy. The Council is weak. Humanity is strong. Fear spread like wildfire. Some Council members demanded a full war against humanity. Others wanted peace talks, hoping to stop further destruction. But there was no time to argue, because humans were not waiting. They were already moving towards their next target, the Council's last hope. The Council's leaders gathered in a secret meeting. They knew humans were winning because of their speed, technology, and brutal tactics. They had to find a way to stop them. One of the generals, a reptilian warrior named Sailor, slammed his claws on the table. "We cannot defeat them in open battle," he growled. "They strike like shadows, destroy everything, and disappear before we can react." A high-ranking scientist, Varlas, leaned forward. His eyes were cold, calculating. "Then we must stop them before they can strike again," he said. The Council had a secret weapon, Project Stormbreaker. For years, they had been building a superweapon, hidden deep inside a fortified world called Draxis 7. It was designed to destroy entire planets with a single shot. It was not ready yet, but the Council had no choice. If they could power it up in time, they could wipe out Earth. They could erase humanity before it was too late. "Send every ship to protect Draxis 7, the Supreme Leader ordered. "The humans must not find out." But the Council had forgotten one thing. Humans always found a way. The spies among them. The Council thought they were being careful. They thought no one knew about Project Stormbreaker, but human spies were already inside their ranks. Shadow squads had infiltrated Council bases. They had hacked into their systems. They had heard everything. A secret message was sent back to Earth. "The Council is building a weapon to destroy us. Location: Draxis 7. There was no hesitation, no debate, no waiting. Earth's leaders made their decision immediately. Draxus 7 must be destroyed. The invasion of Draxus 7. The Council had prepared for an attack, but they had no idea how fast humans would move. Within hours, a massive human fleet jumped out of hyperspace above Draxus 7. It was the largest human attack yet. Warships filled the sky, their engines burning bright as they moved into attack positions. Council defense stations fired first. Giant plasma beams cut through space, trying to stop the invasion. Thousands of automated turrets opened fire, turning the sky into a storm of energy blasts. But the humans were ready. Their ships dodged with precision. Energy shields absorbed the attacks. Swarms of human drones raced forward, disabling the turrets one by one. Then the human superweapons entered the battle. These were ships built for destruction. Massive dreadnoughts with railguns that could punch through planets. They fired at the Council's fleet, breaking them apart like glass. Explosions filled space. Council warships fell like dying stars. The battle was brutal. The Council's soldiers fought with everything they had. But humans were relentless. They had come with one goal: wipe out Project Stormbreaker before it could fire. The final blow. While the battle raged in space, human strike teams landed on the planet. Shadow squads moved through the darkness, cutting down enemy forces with deadly precision. The scientists working on the superweapon tried to escape, but there was nowhere to run. One by one, they were taken down. Finally, the human forces reached the weapon's core. There was no hesitation. They planted charges all around it and set the timer. As they ran back to their ships, explosions tore through the facility. The ground shook. Fire erupted into the sky. And then, Draxus 7 was gone. The Council's defeat. The Galactic Council had suffered its worst loss in history. Project Stormbreaker was destroyed. Their strongest fleets were shattered. Their most brilliant scientists were dead. The war was no longer a war. It was a slaughter. And humanity was winning. The galaxy was burning. What started as a simple act of cruelty, the Council's attack on Eden 4, had turned into their greatest mistake. They had awakened something unstoppable. They had created their own doom. Humanity was no longer fighting for survival. They were hunting. One by one, Council worlds fell. Once great cities were now ruins. Mighty warships lay broken in space. Entire species that once feared the Council now cheered for humanity or begged for mercy. But humans did not stop. They had not forgotten what was done to them. They had not forgotten the billions of innocent lives lost. And now, they were going for the final blow. The last Council world, Zorvan Prime. Zorvan Prime was the heart of the Council's empire. It was a fortress world, protected by the strongest shields, the most powerful weapons, and fleets larger than any other in the galaxy. The Council's leaders, terrified and desperate, had gathered there. They believed that if they could hold Zorvan Prime, they could survive. But humanity had other plans. The final battle was coming. The human fleet arrives. The skies of Zorvan Prime darkened as the largest human fleet in history arrived. Thousands of warships, black as night, moved into position. Their weapons glowed like burning suns. Their engines roared like an unstoppable storm. The Council's fleets were waiting. They had prepared everything. They had their biggest ships, their strongest warriors, their deadliest weapons. But deep inside, they knew the truth. They were afraid. And when the first human ship opened fire, fear turned into horror. The battle for Zorvan Prime. The Council's fleets fought with everything they had. Massive capital ships fired plasma beams powerful enough to destroy moons. Swarms of fighters danced through space, launching missiles, dodging fire. But the humans were too strong. Their ships were faster. Their weapons hit harder. Their strategies were unlike anything the Council had ever seen. Human dreadnoughts unleashed planet-cracking cannons, shattering Council ships in a single blast. Swarms of AI-controlled drones moved like a living wave, cutting through enemy forces. And then came the soldiers. Elite human warriors landed on the surface of Zorvan Prime. They stormed the capital, breaking through every defense. The Council's best troops stood in their way. Giant war beasts, cybernetic monsters, bioengineered assassins. None of it mattered. Humans tore through them like fire through dry grass. Every bullet, every blade, every strike was fueled by revenge. The streets of Zorvan Prime ran red with the blood of its rulers. The end of the Council. The supreme leader of the Council, once the most powerful being in the galaxy, sat in his throne room. He was shaking. His guards were dead. His people were gone. The doors burst open. A group of human soldiers entered, their weapons still smoking. Their leader, a battle-scarred general, stepped forward. His face was calm, but his eyes burned with fury. The supreme leader fell to his knees. "Please," he whispered, "we can surrender. We can." The human general raised his gun. No, a single shot rang out. And with that, the Galactic Council was no more. A new era begins. The war was over. Across the galaxy, alien races watched in shock. The rulers they had feared for so long were gone, and in their place stood humanity. They had not just won. They had changed everything. Some species celebrated, welcoming their new human overlords. Others prepared for war, fearing they would be next. Some whispered in the dark, plotting revenge. But one thing was certain: the age of the Galactic Council had ended, and the age of humanity had begun. The war was over. The Galactic Council, once feared across the stars, was gone. Their rulers were dead, their fleets destroyed. Their cities turned to dust. Humanity had won. For the first time in history, the galaxy belonged to them. But victory was not the end. Now they had to decide, what comes next? The aftermath of war. Across the galaxy, billions of aliens watched in fear. Would humans rule with kindness or crush all resistance? Some species celebrated the fall of the Council. They had suffered under its rule for centuries, and now they saw humans as liberators. They welcomed human soldiers into their worlds, raising banners of peace. But others whispered in the shadows. They had seen what humanity could do. The speed of their strikes, the fury of their revenge, the unstoppable power of their armies. They did not see humans as heroes. They saw them as monsters. The debate on Earth. Back on Earth, the leaders of humanity gathered. The war had made them strong, but now they had a choice to make. Some wanted peace. "We have won. Let us build a better future," said one leader. "The galaxy has suffered enough." But others wanted control. "If we show weakness now, another enemy will rise," argued a general. "We must rule with strength, or we will be destroyed in the future." The people of Earth had lost much in the war. They had seen their worlds burn. They had buried their loved ones. And they remembered Eden 4, the massacre that had started everything. Would they forgive? Or would they never forget? The rise of the Terran Empire. The decision was made. Humanity would not just defend itself. It would rule. The Galactic Council's old territories were divided into sectors, each controlled by a human governor. Alien worlds were allowed to govern themselves, but under human law. The strongest planets swore loyalty to Earth, becoming part of a new order, the Terran Empire. But not everyone accepted human rule. Rebellions broke out in the outer worlds. Alien warlords rose in the dark, gathering those who still hated humanity. They whispered of revenge, the shadows of rebellion. On a distant moon, a secret meeting took place. The leaders of the remaining alien factions sat in a darkened room, their eyes filled with hatred. "They think they are gods," growled a reptilian warrior. "But they bleed like the rest of us." A cloaked figure leaned forward. The council was arrogant. They underestimated the humans. "We will not make the same mistake." They had learned from humanity's war. They had seen their tactics, their weapons, their weaknesses. And now they would strike back. The next war. Humanity had claimed the galaxy. But ruling was harder than winning. Their empire was strong, but enemies lurked in the dark. Old rivals planned their return. And deep in the uncharted regions of space, something else was watching. Something far older than the Council. Something that had seen empires rise and fall before. Humanity had won the war. But the real battle had just begun. The end